Robbie, let's start with you. You were, of course, at Arsenal last night. Thoughts on the game?
Brilliant. By the way, I like the new set, right? But the only thing is, without the sofas, I couldn't get my guard of honour.
I did think that.
We are the champions. Yeah. Like, we've got to remind everybody.
Get that one in early.
Do you know what? He's mentioned that to me 3 times already about a guard of honour. Are you going to mention it anymore?
No, I'll leave that to rest. But no, I was at the game last night. Very, very good performance by Arsenal. Very dominant. And, we're off to a great start. Last week against Man City as well. You know, we look really, really good. And, I like what I see at the moment. Seeing players back, because I think a lot of people forget that last season there were some key players that were injured or weren't at their normal, levels, like Odegaard, Saka and Havertz, all 3 of them scoring last night. I think you were saying it, the first time they played together.
Yeah, it's like first or second time since December 2024.
Yeah. So to have them back is big. And then before the game, Ezri Konsa announced, the squad's looking good. When I saw some of the players coming off the bench, it fills me with a lot of confidence for the season ahead. Hopefully we can retain it.
Is this AFTV?
Honestly, Robbie's just done a full season preview in the intro.
You want to preview for United?
Yeah, no, save it. I was going to ask Lias a question, but forget about it. We'll save it. We ain't got time. We'll move on.
Wow.
As well as hearing from the boys, though, throughout the show, we've also got a brand new feature, Fact or Fiction.
Yeah.
That is with the entire Arsenal squad. That is coming up in part 3.
Yeah, it's very entertaining.
Yes.
I think Robbie will enjoy watching that one specifically. But let's get cracking with the show. The Premier League is back. It is the first Saturday social of the new season. So what else will we be doing other than our Premier League predictions? Very straightforward, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got a list of categories. We've asked Lias and Robbie to give us their pick, get off the fence and give us their predictions for the season. We will start with who you think will be Premier League champions. Can you reveal your magnets, please?
Wow. Shock. Robbie, last year you got every one of these right, basically.
Yeah, and when I said Arsenal last year, I remember everyone laughed me out the room, right? And I'm going for Arsenal again, and for a similar reason. It's a stable team. Lots of the other clubs, new managers, they've, a lot of them done good business, but those new managers are going to have to settle in. We've got a stable team. We've got a manager now who's won the title. The squad that Arsenal are putting together is unbelievable. As I said last night, when I saw some of the players coming off the bench, like, Eze, and when you think about it, you still got guys like Timber and that to come back, Saliba. So I think Arsenal, the fact that they've got over the line, the fact that, if you remember, actually, even before winning the league, they come runners-up 3 seasons in a row. They're definitely going to be in and around it. And I just think we'll learn from what Liverpool did last year, where they weren't quite on it. I think Arteta's going to make sure that they're on it, and I'm confident we can retain it.
Yes, you've gone with Arsenal. How important is it for the legacy to retain a title? Because obviously it takes an unbelievable achievement to win it, but Arsenal have actually never retained a Premier League title. They have retained a title in the 30s, but not a Premier League. So how big would that be for Arteta's legacy?
I mean, massively, right? When you're talking about Premier League dynasties, I think there's 2, maybe at a stretch 3 with Chelsea, but it's Ferguson's United and it's Pep's City, and that's not a slight at what Klopp did or what Arsenal and Wenger did, but the reality is they were never able to retain it. So they were winning titles amongst another team, really dominating. And I think when you look at the landscape of the Premier League, along with what Arsenal have been building and kind of anticipating this moment, there is really an opportunity for them to really stamp their authority on this league and make the next few years their league. And I think a big thing will come in retaining it successfully for the first time, like you said, since the 30s.
OK, let's stick them up. I might give you a hand with the magnets. There you go.
Yeah, Smithy will help stick them up, and we'll move on to the next.
Stick that also.
I knew you did. I know.
Smithy.
Next up, we've got.
Keep laughing at me.
Next up, we've got top 4. We've got top 4. So let's reveal your top 4s together and see if there's any differences. I believe there are. So, Lias, you've gone Arsenal, City in second, United third, Chelsea fourth. You've gone City in second, Liverpool in third, United fourth, Rob. So some differences there. First and foremost, you haven't even got Chelsea in your top 4, Rob.
I haven't. I think Chelsea got unbelievable attack. Their midfield's very, very good as well. But I'm still not sure about the defence. They've lost Cucurella. He, to me, was the best left-back in the league last year. The goalkeeper, I'm still not 100% sure on. Defences win you leagues. I still think that Chelsea are the type of team that can slip up in games. So I'd have United, and a lot of people are writing off Liverpool, and I think Liverpool's still going to be up there. I really do. I think, obviously they've still got to make some wide signings, which I think they will. What if Isak and all those Verts and those guys come to the party? I mean, I think they're going to be serious this year.
You both got City in second. I think there's quite a bit of narrative sort of developing at the moment online anyway that, City might struggle this year. They've lost a lot of senior figures in the dressing room. They've lost Pep Guardiola. But you two aren't buying that.
It's tough to predict, man. Seriously, obviously there's a lot of time left in the window, which I took into account here. For example, Liverpool aren't in my current top 4. But if they manage to bring in a few more bodies, that could absolutely change. And I think the Premier League is really interesting this year because, yes, Arsenal do look a cut above the rest, I would have to say. But if you go from 2nd to maybe even 6th or 7th, I don't think there's too much kind of splitting the likes of Liverpool and United and Chelsea. Spurs you could throw in there, maybe even Aston Villa. I think a lot of these teams are in transition. They're maybe recovering from poor seasons or a new manager has come in through the door. So for me to put City second, I don't see it as maybe a City second in the past where clearly they're a title contender and the rest, the third place is a distant third. I think anywhere from 2nd to 6th could see a variety of different ones. And I do look at City when you have a player like Erling Haaland, when you still have the experience. They have lost experience this window, but there is still a lot of title winners in this team. I wouldn't expect City to fall off massively. It could happen. We've seen it in the past where dynastic managers leave and a David Moyes or an Emery struggles to really replace that impact. But I do think City still have enough in reserve to be comfortably in the top 4. I believe so.
Obviously, you're a United fan.
Yeah.
You've got 3rd. Rob's gone 4th. What are you expecting this season?
I think the expectation for a lot of United fans is to retain Champions League football. Some people are maybe hinting at a title challenge. I do think we're a few players off that. I'm under no illusion that we're going to make that kind of leap. But I think for the most part, you look at the window that we've had, I think it's been a pretty successful window. I think some people might have looked at Ineos and questioned the timing and are they really being as assertive as you can? But when you look at the 3 signings that they brought in for around £150 million, I have to be honest with you, I think it's pretty good business, especially when you look at the amount of money kind of flying around the window at this point. I think a lot will have to be said about how Carrick manages this team because it's a huge test for him, right? A real test now in terms of getting United competing in 4 competitions back in the Champions League. But when I look at what United have, I don't think we're miles off it like some people might suggest. I think we have a pretty strong team. Defensively, I think there's still some reinforcement to do, but I think there's goals in this team, and I think they should, again, make the top 4, top 5.
Okay.
Smith, no Spurs there, bro. What's going on?
No,
Spurs,
where do you see Spurs then, you two?
I think maybe 6th.
6th, Robbie?
Don't know, really.
Robbie refuses to say anything positive.
Spurs, I think they'll be, I think about 6th. Remember, there were 17th last year. I know they brought a lot of players in, but it's still going to be a battle to get up there. Obviously, they're not going to be as bad as they were. And also, a lot of injured players are going to come back.
They have a great coach, too. I'll give them that.
6th, mate, it all depends on the coach.
Yeah.
It all depends.
I think 6th is about right.
Yeah.
I had them 6th. Okay, let's go to Golden Boot. Now, is this the easiest category for any of you to predict? I mean, it feels like whenever we do this same name keeps popping up and it's always right.
I think only Salah has managed to outscore Haaland in the season since he's been here. And it kind of feels like when Henry and Van Nistelrooy were in the league, right? Yeah. It's always those two, and it takes something really spectacular to kind of finish above them.
Could have a shout for Isak, maybe.
I like Isak a lot.
If he's fit,
yeah.
You know, and
do you think he's the nearest contender to Haaland? If we both expect Haaland to win it, you think he's the next contender?
I'd say he's the next contender.
João Pedro. Scored a lot of goals last year.
I think what gives... Well, Isak, I was about to say, could Isak take penalties? But they do have Szoboszlai from the spot. I don't know. I think those are probably the 2 big contenders, at least on paper.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well, wouldn't it? Pedro wouldn't take penalties.
Yeah, Palmer takes
them. Cole Palmer.
Yeah, good point.
But I just think Haaland, man, he's a generational goal scorer. And even if you think City might struggle, it's hard to imagine anyone really putting the ball in the back of them more than Haaland.
That's why they're still going to be up there.
Yeah. I think he earns them 30 points.
Incredible. He's won the Premier League Golden Boot 3 of his 4 seasons at City, and only Henry and Salah have won the Golden Boot in 4 different seasons. So the levels we're talking about and the players he's around, it's just, I think no one will be surprised to see his name there. Let me stick the magnets up for you.
So the next category is Player of the Season. I think you're going to continue down that path, aren't you, Lias? But there is a change-up for you. Rob. It's not. Is that? I know it's not
Zubimendi. This one. Zubimendi was signing of the season. Sorry.
Zubimendi had a great season last year.
He had a great.
Won the World Cup.
He got a great fight.
Right?
So bounce back campaign for Bukayo.
Bukayo Saka. You know what I mean? Last year, sort of injury hit, in and out. You know, if Arsenal do win the title, which is what I'm predicting, I think him being back to his best could be, he could score a lot of goals, he could get a lot of assists, he could be our most important player if he's back to his best. So I'm going to predict a big season for Saka. He's looking hungry at the moment. We all know that he weren't at his best last year because of injuries, but he looks fit now. He scored that hat-trick. I know it was in the sort of playoff game, but he's looking sharp for me. And him being back to his best, he's off the mark straight away last night as well. I'm going Bukayo Saka.
Do you think if Arsenal do retain their title here, though, obviously we're seeing this time last year, Rice, Gabriel, Raya being the guys that were sort of Player of the Year nominees. Is that not going to continue with the way Arteta has built that squad and the way they play? It's quite...
No, but I think that Saka's a very, very important part of that squad, but he was just not at it last year. It's just, players like him, Odegaard, they had an injury-hit season, so that if you look at it, they didn't really figure in that talk. But I think if he's fit, he's kind of like the main guy. You could alongside Rice. So I think it's I just got a feeling that he's going to have a big season.
Stick him up there.
I'm going for Saka.
Okay, and you're going Haaland, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the Premier League right now, and I was talking to Joe about this yesterday, and I think there's a real lack of bona fide superstar attacking talent in the Premier League. I think there's obviously great players in the league, but when you think about the best players attacking-wise, I think a lot of them play for the likes of Real or Barca or PSG. Except for this guy, right? This is, for me, now the face of the Premier League now that Salah has left. And I agree kind of with what Joe was saying. I do feel like Arsenal winning the league will be predicated on their depth and their defensive strength. And how often do defensive players typically win these awards? I think Haaland is probably set for another big goal-scoring season. I think
the platform might be set for a guy like this to really
potentially,
go and perform.
Yeah, and I think he's got a big. He has to have a big season based on the last few years. But I look at Haaland, and I can see another season where he scores 30 goals, and he's the reason why City are kind of in those healthy positions. So it's maybe an easy choice, and maybe it's an easy answer to kind of give. That's probably a bit more of like, Saka could really work out. But I'm going to go for Haaland.
Is he ever one player of the season, Haaland?
Yeah,
he won it once.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, fake player of the year.
Yes, this is my last. I think you're going to have to take over the next Magnets,
No worries, mate.
after this.
Next up, we've got transfer hit while Smithy stretches out.
There we go.
What we got? Yes, Johan Manzambi.
I want a bit more rogue here, right?
Finally. A bit of a rogue shout. And, I mean, Christos Solis, he started fantastic.
When you guys asked me about this during the week, you're probably thinking, oh, look, Robbie's gone again, another Arsenal player.
You are allowed to pick non-Arsenal players in any of these categories,
I'm just
Robbie.
trying to be honest, and I'm trying to be honest with this, right? And when I've watched this guy in pre-season, and he stood out. He's just looked really, really good. I remember when we signed him, I was chatting to this Bruges, sort of Club Bruges influencer, and he said, I know you guys are going to say it's Belgium League, Robbie, but you don't understand. You're signing a guy. He's a top player. He was brilliant in the league. I think he had 23 assists.
Yeah, do you know what? 17 goals and 23 assists.
Yeah.
So amazing.
And
amazing
he just
record.
looks made for Arsenal. He looks a real Arteta player. And I think if he stays fit, he's going to have a big season.
Decent shout for the fee as well. It's worth pointing out.
35 million.
By the way, we're always looking for new guests. So this Club Bruges influencer,
No, he was really good, by the way. He's really good.
Yeah, he does look like a problem, Joel. I mean, I was saying yesterday, I was telling Robbie, it looks like he was born to play for Arteta.
Yeah.
I went for Manzambi, a bit more of a rogue shot. Look, there's obviously Morgan Rogers, I think is going to be a hit at Chelsea. But I thought, who's maybe the one that's gone under the radar? And I watched Manzambi a lot at the World Cup. I watched him against my national team. I went to go watch us against Switzerland. He absolutely tore Algeria apart. And I think he's one of those players that maybe goes under the radar because he's not coming from a big European club.
Yeah.
But this guy, he can run up players, he can get in behind, he can score goals. And I think fitness allowing, I think he's in for a big season at Villa.
Nice.
He looks impressive.
Any alternatives in there? I want to throw Euro Tielemans in there. I think he's
for the price. I think it's a great signing.
Yeah.
Did you look at Morgan Rogers as well?
I think you got Morgan Rogers as a shout because
Chelsea looks powerful, doesn't it?
I think Palestra at Chelsea. I like the look of him. I feel like the biggest thing for that three at the back system, as I saw with United at Amorim, is the wing backs. And I look at him. He might look a little unorthodox for a wing back, big guy, but I think he could be one of those guys you look at the end of the season and say Chelsea, they did good business with that.
I think James Trafford as well.
James Trafford's a good shout.
It's a fantastic bit of business for them.
All right, let's stick them up. You going?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this is back to you.
All right.
And then we're going to Overachieving Team. So which team do you boys think is going to overachieve?
And by the way, it's quite rare that we get the same
You
team.
copied my
from the
homework,
guests.
mate. You copied my homework, mate.
So you've both gone with Forest,
Yeah.
who haven't spent that much in the transfer window so far. And obviously they've lost one of their best players, Elliot Anderson. So for you, is this the Glasner effect? Why have you gone with Forest?
It's the manager.
Simply
for
the
me.
Glasner effect.
Yeah, Glasner effect. I think he's such a good manager. I think it's a great appointment for them. And I think if he's left to do his business, right, because there could be a little bit of interference there sometimes. But I think if he's left to do his business, I feel that he's going to get this team going. They've already got some very good players. So I think Forest might overachieve. Never know. I think they could have a shout for Europe.
It's funny, 2 seasons ago when they finished 7th and they were flirting with Champions League, I think they were probably overachieving at that point. As you look at the underlying metrics, they were massively performing above their level. But last season, I think, was a massive underperformance. And I think there was a lot of instability at the club with, remember, Nuno and then Ange and then Sean Dyche.
4 managers.
Vitor Pereira. There's a lot of instability. And when you talk about stability in the Premier League over the last few seasons, I think Glasner is really the epitome of that. Yeah. What he built at Crystal Palace, keeping them afloat, getting them over the line in terms of silverware, him coming to a club like this where there is quality in this team. Yes, they lost Elliot Anderson, but you look around this team, you think Morgan Gibbs-White, this is a guy that almost went to the City and Spurs a year ago. I look at their back line, I think there's quality there. I think Forest will be healthy this year. I think last season was a real scare at one point of relegation, but I think comfortably they'll be around mid-table, maybe even top half.
It's tough to predict with Forest, isn't it? If you look at their 4 seasons, it's 16th, 17th, 7th and 16th. The managerial merry-go-round they've had in the past, the players that come in and out, they seem to be a team that are quite hard to predict year on year.
That back 3 is good, though.
Yeah.
You know, Milenkovic, Murillo and Ousmane Dembele.
Yeah. And the Gibbs-White.
Good signing.
Gibbs-White was the highest scoring English player in the Premier League last season.
He ended the season really well.
Dembele, a good signing as well, man. And
Diamande,
yeah. And if you've got a solid defence, you've got a chance.
Yeah. All right.
Get him up.
Stick them up, Lies. So that's your overachievers. We move on to underachievers. So this is the team you think will underachieve. And again, you've gone with the same team.
Mate, you're copying my homework. What's going
on? Robbie. Now, a lot's been made of Newcastle. Obviously, they've lost Sandro Tonali, Guimaraes, Gordon, Trippier, Eddie Howe's gone. But there's a lot of Newcastle fans we speak to are sort of trying to say, calm down, we've still got players, they're still reassured. Where do you sit with what's going on at Newcastle at the minute? Do you think they simply need to buy more before the window ends?
I feel a bit sorry for them. Obviously, they've lost so many key players. I mean, losing Guimaraes as well was a massive blow for them. It's great for us, but for them. And I just think, and then Eddie Howe's gone as well. So we don't know what we're going to get.
Were you surprised at the timing of that, Eddie Howe?
Yeah, because
sort of
if
midway
anything,
through the summer, wasn't it? It wasn't at the
Correct
end of
me if
the
I'm wrong,
season.
though, but he also, was it not him who stepped aside?
Yeah.
I don't blame him, right? When you're looking at a window where you've lost 3 starters in the space of a month, and it doesn't look like the required quality is going to come in through the door this window, as a manager, you probably look at it and say, what more can I really do? He's done tremendous things for Newcastle, and I do feel like his time was coming towards an end. I think they had maybe hit a ceiling above him. But if I'm a manager and I'm seeing this many big players walk out the door at once, I'm thinking to myself,
manager's gone and all your main players.
There's a lot of experience there.
Gone, all of them.
But I think they've definitely shifted their recruitment strategy to a different style.
Yeah, but that's going to take time.
They've started signing.
Have they shifted it out of? Have they shifted it because they wanted to, or have they shifted it because they have no other option?
I think probably the latter,
right? Yeah.
But it's not necessarily a bad thing. We've seen Brighton very successful following that format.
It's not a bad thing. Are they going to do as well as they did last season?
Well, they didn't do that well.
And they didn't do that well last season.
I almost feel a little bad putting them underachieving because when everybody thinks they're going to have a poor season, they can't really underachieve. But yeah, I do worry when you lose that much. Like Tonali, Gordon, and Bruno G, no matter what you thought about their seasons last year, are still 3 very, very good players for Newcastle. And I think that's a lot to replace in one.
Do you think it's tough for Eisler to sort of come in that late in the window, lose that many players?
Very tough.
It's tough, but I like the way he speaks already. He's come in with a real air of confidence, and he also has a great track record, albeit in Asia, but he did very, very well in the Saudi League and in the Asian Champions League. So clearly they have a lot of faith in him, and best of luck to him, but I think it's a big job for him.
Okay,
speaking with a lot of confidence when he plays the first game.
Yeah, that's true.
So I hope that.
So James's Park's going to be bouncing though, man. They're going to be fully supporting him. They're going to be so behind him.
I hope they do okay, but it's going to be tough.
Okay, next up, we're finishing with hot take. We're going to do these one at a time, actually, I think. Lies, this is so spicy.
You're not having his hot take.
I'm not having it as
I'm not a hot take guy, man. I'm not a hot take guy. It's not my bag.
Go
Seriously.
on, reveal your hot
You
take.
guys brought the wrong guy for hot takes.
Reveal your hot take.
I like nuance, man. I like.
Go on, what's your
I
hot
went
take?
for my hot take is that Chelsea will finish the season as the top scorers in the Premier League. It's
Spicy.
not the spiciest
What a
thing in the
hot
world,
take.
but I think they got a lot of quality in
Okay.
attack, and I like the system. I think they'll do quite well this year.
Yeah, okay. Rob,
Sticking it straight up.
your hot take.
Lukewarm hot take, that is. Now, what is this hot take?
This is
Robbie?
his bag. You see, this is why you bring
what-
Don
come
Robbie
on.
to this show. You
Yeah.
don't bring me
Don
for hot
Robbie.
takes.
Here we
man.
go.
Come on, the floor is yours.
Some of it out of pure hate, right? But then some of it out of, I think, right? Now, this could go one of two ways with Roberto De Zerbi. Either you have a very good season.
Don't
getting to
caveat it,
Europe,
Rob. Say that hot take.
What's the
mate.
hot take, Robbie?
But the hot take is De Zerbi gets sacked before the end of the season or walks away. He gives me the Conte vibes.
Yeah.
He's one of them managers that's very, even in his last job, Marseille.
He's got so
Walked
much
out,
control here, though, Rob.
he-
He's got so much control.
Got a
Conte
lot of
didn't, did he?
control, but
He
he's
had
one of
control
these
of Marseille,
managers that if it ain't going well, if it ain't going all his own way, he sort of, as I said, Conte vibes I get, that old Italian a bit.
Well, just because
This could go wrong.
You just said that Spurs have finished sixth and it would be a good season for 17.
That's on the one hand, but on the other hand, it could all go
Oh,
wrong.
I'm not having it,
Don't
Robbie.
stand
It
for that.
could all
I'm not
go
having it.
wrong.
I'm not
Roberto
having
De
it.
Zerbi, right? When he left Brighton, a little bit, Marseille. And there's a lot of expectations on him now. He's gone out, he's spent a lot of money. I mean, the amount of money you lot have spent, I was going to ask you for a loan. I mean, trust me,
Robbie,
we're those all the way.
If there's one person that doesn't need a loan, it's Don Robbie.
I know we're Tottenham got all this
48
money.
people working for
Tottenham.
you. You don't need a loan.
We've got billionaires now, haven't they, right?
Come on,
dug up
stick it
all
out.
the
He's
summer,
under a
man.
lot of
What
pressure.
happened?
He has to deliver this season. For me, he has to deliver Europe, doesn't he?
I'm not having it. What he's
Yeah,
doing here, this
for
is
sure.
classic
For sure.
psychology from
Does he
Robbie
not
Lyle.
have to deliver-
This is classic
Nah,
psychology.
but he is right, though, no?
He's
Sliffy,
trying
does
to
he
get-
not, with the money he's spent, does he not have to deliver?
Do you think he has to deliver Europe?
He
I
has
think
to
Spurs-
deliver
I think Spurs-
Europe. No, and I'm not
European-
on about Conference
not top
League.
four.
You spent about 600 million pounds. Of course,
I
you
think,
got to deliver Europe.
European football is a realistic expectation this season. I'd agree.
What if it goes? What if it's not going quite right?
This is what he's doing. What if he's planting the seed?
De Zerbi gone by the end of the
Well,
season.
how bad would the Zerbi have to be, though, in your opinion, to be sacked this season or even at the end? How bad would Spurs have to be?
How bad?
Yeah.
Stick it
they're
down
not
there.
going to make
Bottom-
Europe. They
bottom
don't
half.
make Europe. They
Stick
don't
it
make
down.
European
There we go.
football.
Right, there we go.
And
And
then-
there is confirmation of Robbie and Lies's Premier League predictions. I'm not having
like
the hot
his more
take,
than
by the way. But there we go. There are the predictions. Let us know what you think of those at home.